Okay, today is September 16th, and this is the local historic design review for the Ohio City neighborhood. And we have 3 committee members present making a quorum, and we have present Alex Frondorf, Margaret Land, and Antonia Marinucci. And our first agenda item is Citizens Bank. And let's see, I have it pulled up here. So if Scott and Ken or whoever will be representing this, you can start and let me know when to move to the next slide.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. With this presentation, we've updated it so that throughout all the pages of the presentation, only the Hellier-Lewis depiction of the front elevation is presented for better consistency. Wow. There were just a handful of comments that came out of the last meeting from 2 weeks ago. And I'd like to just focus in on particular pages where we did make some updates.
Well, before you go into that, Donna, would you like us to go through the whole entire presentation or just indicate what we've changed since the last time and the items that we've addressed?
I guess it's up to the committee, but I believe that maybe we can just quickly scroll through and maybe you can talk about some changes that you've made.
So the main change that we did for the presentation is we went through the format, made it very consistent and easy to read, just so that you guys knew exactly what we're doing to the storefront. And that's what you can kind of see throughout this
presentation. Okay, if we could go to page 8, Donna. All right, and this is our elevation where for every layer of the facade, we indicate what we're going to be doing. And the very top of the parapet or the coping, and then for a cornice a couple of feet below that, we changed it so that they will remain unpainted but be clean. So in the end, something that's painted now will continue to be painted, and items that are not painted will remain unpainted.
So this is not, this is painted, is what you're saying. The sandstone elements are painted?
Yes.
I believe if you want to go to the next page, it's kind of, we have this page here. The top thing as well.
I don't have the best software on this computer. So this is painted currently. I guess that wasn't clear.
No, it's unpainted now and it's going to remain unpainted.
Okay.
That multi-tiered cornice as well as the top of the parapet or coping at the very top. All right, if we could move to page 9. And here, we have an image with the exterior paints applied onto the facade. And we moved actual swatches of the paint colors onto the same page. So it's apparent exactly what paints are meant to go where.
And we also provided the specification on this sheet so that you can see that the paint is appropriate for an exterior. And there's also the paint specification on the next page.
I don't know if anyone needs to see that in greater detail.
All right, then pages 11 through 13 more clearly show what the intent is for the replacement gooseneck light fixtures on the exterior of the building. They will be in a black finish consistent with other trim paint color, and they'll have a typical gooseneck fitting to the building.
So that image right there is showing the parapet wall painted. So I thought that, so the cornice remains unpainted, but you're painting the parapet wall?
No, the top of the parapet, which is unpainted now, will remain unpainted.
When you say top, do you mean the brick area, or are you just referring to the
The light colored trim
right
pieces
there.
that are above the masonry.
Okay, so the masonry is painted, but the sandstone cornice and sandstone cap on the parapet wall will not be painted.
That's correct.
It says in the details that it would be cleaned though, so I think that would eliminate the looks like oxidation or striations in the sandstone as it stands today.
Okay, if we could go to pages 17 through 19. Page 17 shows the individual letters and Daisy logo for Citizens Bank. And there's an attachment detail that was provided by Pierre, who's also on this call. And the attachments will go into the mortar joints opposed to the brick itself.
And there is on the additional page, the specification in more detail for these branding elements.
And then lastly, on page 26, in the lower right corner of the schedule are the exterior paints, and we added extra detail that they need to conform to a certain ASTM standard for breathability of the paint, so that the masonry below it, won't be tightly encapsulated.
Here we go, Benjamin Moore.
Yeah, the right-hand side in the comments, we added in specifically, it needs to conform to a particular standard for that. That being said, I believe we have accommodated all the comments from 2 weeks ago. Just wondering if there are any questions we might be able to answer.
Just in terms of cleaning the masonry, were you just going to use a water wash, or had you chosen a cleaning product?
Well, we haven't specified anything as of this minute, but we were wanting to keep it, simple. Not looking for it to necessarily be sparkling fresh, but it does appear as if there's certain staining, that a simple process could be.
Yeah, it's usually the Secretary of the Interior recommends starting with a gentle soap and water wash. Rather than a chemical. A lot of the chemical cleaners you can only use once or twice before they start to open up the pores in the stone, and then it would just take on more dirt eventually. So I would suggest just specifying a soap and water wash for that, at least to start, to see how clean you can get it that way.
Agreed.
And then do we have any comments about the gooseneck lights from anyone? I don't know if there was anything specified last time. Just want to verify that that's okay.
I'm good on the lighting. I do have one clarification question. On the, let's see what page this is. On the page, on page 8, if you look at that, like kind of zooming in on some of these detail notes, there is the existing transom and there is a decorative wood trim that's very subtle. And it says existing wood trim to be scraped, sanded, and prepped to receive, and then some coding. I just want to make sure, because in the renderings, it looks like it's not defined, I guess, that the wood is staying, but I want to just clarify that that's still the intention.
That is correct. That is an intention. The clear story above and the wood trim would remain. We're just going to clean it up.
Yeah,
and
so
paint it,
just
make
the
it
new.
look nice. Yeah, the only thing that would be new as far as the store, that storefront would be the storefront below the clear story, and the door
Right.
we have to lower for the new floor.
Okay, great. I think that this addresses all the stuff that we had commented on last time, and everything looks good to me.
I agree. I really appreciate the clarity on the color layout too. I think it makes a big difference.
And just to reiterate the comments from last meeting, so one of the items that we needed clarification on was the signage, and to show how that would be attached to the facade with the preference that it be attached in the mortar joints. And it looks like that's accurately depicted here in these renderings and drawings. And then the breathable masonry paint was an item. And then the cornice, to leave that unpainted, and the other sandstone details. And it looks like today we recommended that soap and water wash were to be used to clean that stone. Anything else? Does somebody want to make a motion and a second? If you're ready.
The
Motion to-
citizens-
Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, I think I saw it there, and I know that it's in your plan, so I apologize for not reading it more carefully. But the sign there that's affixed to the facade, is that an illuminated sign?
Yes, it will be illuminated.
Right, the next page down, Donna.
Okay, I see it right there. Thank you. All right, Antonio, sorry to cut you off.
That's fine. I was in the same motion to approve as presented.
I will second.
All right, I will take the roll. So Margaret Land,
Yes.
Antonia Marinucci,
Yes.
and Alex Frondor.
Yes.
Okay, unanimously approved. And the next step would be for you guys to just talk to the Landmarks Commission. And I saw that Mr. Pettit is online. So
Yeah,
if you have any
thanks,
questions, you can refer to them, but
Anna. Because this is a storefront renovation program project, and based on your recommendation, this will not have to go to the Landmarks Commission.
so you're done with your public reviews.
And thank you all for all the input.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Have a great weekend.
Okay,
Thank
bye
you.
now.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, Sherwin Williams. And then I believe Doug joined. Are you here, Doug? You're muted, but so Doug has entered the building virtually, everyone. So now we have full committee members present, just to state, and our chair is back. So we are now looking at Sherwin Williams and Graffiti part mural.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So my name's Kelley. I know I've met many of you on previous phone calls and email chains, but it's great to see everybody again. I think my manager Taryn is also on the call now.
Hi, guys.
Yes. Yeah, so I am the marketing coordinator for the creative team at Sherwin-Williams headquarters here in Cleveland. And my manager, Taryn, is the senior creative manager. So we have been working with Graffiti Heart. I think Allison was also online. I think I saw her name earlier.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hi, Allison. So we've been working with Allison and Stami and their team. They connected us with a really fantastic artist. And we have started to work through creating a mural that will go on the side of our new Ohio City Sherwin-Williams location. So wanted to talk through first just kind of like our company background and why we're so excited for this project. I put a bunch of information in there, but just to give you guys a quick overview of Sherwin-Williams, we were founded over 150 years ago in Cleveland, and we have been here ever since. So it's our hometown, you know, we support that and talk about that in a lot of different ways. And it's part of the reason we're so excited to help beautify our community with this public art project. We're an industry leader in the development of paint and coatings. I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with our products. We have over 4,400, I think, store locations now across the US, Canada, and Caribbean. So pretty big company, but we're really proud to be centered in Cleveland. So wanted to get into the logistics of our project a little bit. I know some of you are kind of in the loop on it, but just to do like a quick overview of where we're looking, our new Ohio City store location is on the corner of Lorain and West 44th. In Ohio City. That map is a little bit zoomed out, but I just wanted everyone to get like a good context of some of the indicators that are kind of around the store. So when I was standing there, I noticed it's about a block from Mason's Creamery, if anyone knows where that is, down Lorain, and then about a block from Platform in the other direction down West 44th. Getting into the schematics of the building a little bit, this is the side that's facing West 44th Street. This is the side we're planning to put the mural on. You can kind of see I highlighted the area in yellow that we'll be working with. There are two doors there. There's a garage door and then like a walk-through door. We've chosen not to paint those because of like the wear and tear that could come with that. But that whole yellow area we're planning to paint. It's about 57 feet long and about 13 feet tall. So it's a good size area. It'll be painted on masonry brick. The construction's fairly new. We started in October 2020 and we just finished in May of this year. But I did confirm with the landlord, the store manager, and our architectural manager that all of the brick is past the point of the pH not being balanced or having any sort of issues working with that or painting on that. So confirmed that we are good to go there and we're past that point. And then on the next slide, yeah, so this was a more in-depth. I have actually put in there the elevation document. It's very technical and a little overwhelming. Look at. I don't know if anyone's super interested in seeing more in depth, but yeah, if you want to pull it up. The building material is masonry brick. It's unpainted. That document that's included in there, if anybody did want to look through it. Oh, it might make you sign in. I can send through that document as well through email. Sorry, I didn't realize it was going to make you sign in. I can send that through via email as well if anyone's interested in looking at that. But the section that I screenshotted and put on there, that's the keynote legend of where we'll be painting. These are some photos of the wall. You can kind of see, sorry, there's still a new construction sign in there I couldn't quite crop out, but you can kind of see both of those doors and then the brick section, and then there's trim right above that. We will not be painting on that. It'll stop at that brick area. So again, about 13 feet tall. And then the next slide, some context photos of the surrounding area. So the photo you see on the left, that's the front of our building that's facing on Lorain Avenue. You can kind of see where on the side of the corner there, that's where the painting will be going. The image I have on the right, that is what is directly across from where our mural was going. There is art there existing. It's a bit older and a little bit worn out. It looks like it was done a few years ago, but that is what's across the street from us on West 44th. Some more context photos. So the one on the left is if you were standing in front of the Sherwin-Williams building and looking at the corner, that's the street corner. There's a Sunoco there. Not a whole lot else at that corner. And then the one on the right is to the left of the building. So you can see the spot next to it is also made of brick, but it's a little bit different color. So does anyone have any questions on the location or the building so far?
No, I think we're all quite familiar with it.
I was gonna say it's somewhat new, so I feel like everyone's probably in the loop on that one. But moving on with the artist portfolio, I know a lot of you have mentioned that you've worked with Evan in the past. He's been fantastic, super talented. He's a Cleveland-based freelance designer. He's very used to working with large spaces and murals. I put a couple examples from his portfolio on here and added his Instagram if you wanted to scroll through a couple more options. But he's very talented, very used to working with these kinds of large spaces with public art. And he's really been able to help us concept our idea and take it to the next level, which I think should be coming up next. So here it is. This is kind of our concept here. You can see the spots we reserved where the garage door is and the walk-through door. I also did want to mention, literally this morning, Evan did send a little bit more updated work. I don't know if I'm allowed to share my screen to show that, but I can send through via email. It's the same exact concept, except that white space where we've included our logo is shrunk down a little bit. It's a bit more condensed. And there's just some finishing touches, including like a little bit of coloring and line work. But this is pretty much the concept that we're moving forward with. Or at least we'd like to move forward with. I know also in our previous conversations, we mentioned that there was concern about our branding being too big, and you guys requested to have it less than 20%. I can confirm our branding on this is 15.3% of the total mural. So you can kind of see it takes up that space, but still within that range that we kind of discussed previously. Getting into our products. So we have a great locks online. It's great for masonry systems. That's what we're going to use as the primer. That's just kind of like a cell sheet of the line as a whole. I put 2 other cell sheets about the primers moving forward. So they're moisture resistant, they're self-cleaning. It's really great. We've seen a lot of success with them. They meet the VOC regulations. One thing I don't have included in here that I did want to talk about is for our top coat, we are going to move forward using Emerald Rain Refresh. That's another super durable exterior coating of ours. It has a self-cleaning technology, so water and dirt kind of just washes away from it. That's going to be the top coat with the actual colors that we're going to be painting with. And then this final, sorry, I didn't mean to make you jump around like that. This final product we're looking at is Sure Clear. This is going to be the acrylic clear coat that we're going to put on top. Just as a protective UV coating, just that extra protection that we need to make sure it's not wearing and is able to stand with the elements. So yeah. Anyone have any questions at all on the project, the art, anything you need clarification on?
Did you want to?
I'm sorry, the top coat you're talking about, what is the anticipated life of that?
I don't have a year age range. I could definitely look into it. We've been working really closely with the head of our product team, Rick Watson. He would definitely know and answer that information. Also, I know we've been working with our architectural manager in the area. I know it's very long lasting. Unfortunately, unless Tara knows, I don't know the exact years that would be anticipated to.
Well, I just have a couple of concerns about that. One is that, this is like a finished coat you're gonna put over the artist paint. What kind of paint is the artist using? Acrylic?
Yeah, so it's an acrylic exterior coating, Emerald Rain Refresh, and I'm happy to send through some more information on that as well. We have cell sheets and a lot of different information that we can send through.
All of his paint is actually your product as well. It's just blacks on. So he's using one of your paint coating systems to paint the mural.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just was worried about coordination, like maybe, okay, you're going to put the primer coat on your product and then artist is going to go do something else. And then
no, it'll be all our products. No, I was actually concerned about that as well. I wanted to talk to the experts we have and make sure we were doing the right thing and make sure all these products also work together and are cohesive together. And Rick is fantastic. He's the head of our product team and he was able to confirm that all these will work together. This was his recommendation. It was also, I connected with the Ohio City store manager and it was his recommendation as well to move forward with these products. So we feel confident that those would be able to work for us.
Great.
Yeah, any other questions or comments? Anything need clarification?
I had some questions. Well, first of all, I just want to clarify to the committee that this be reviewed as a sign because of Sherwin-Williams' name in the artwork. So it's basically a painted artistic sign versus being treated as a public art mural. The other questions I had, are you all keeping the logo? So on the slide, I thought the doors were being painted, but I think you said they're not being painted. And then there's another additional Sherwin-Williams logo on the walk-through door. Is that going to remain?
So the Sherwin-Williams that's on the walk-through door, that's up now. I'm sure it's fine to take down. It's really just a poster that they have on the side. I don't know if it's in, there it is, yeah. So that's really just what they have right now. Obviously, there is no signage on the side of the wall right now. I think they wanted to put that up so that if you're walking down West 44th and not coming from Lorain, you can see that's a Sherwin-Williams store. Again, it's a very new store. It only opened this summer. So I think they kind of just wanted some signage there to make sure everybody knew, because you can't tell from that side of the street that it's a Sherwin-Williams location.
Excuse me to interrupt, Tara, can you introduce yourself so that the committee knows?
Oh, I'm
exactly,
sorry.
and that the other tenants, no, it's okay. I know who you are, but I don't know that everyone else does.
I didn't think about that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm Tara Petrus, the public art coordinator for the city. So I work in city planning. And then a couple of other things I had. The mural across the street, that's a older mural, was put up in 1987. It's a John Rivera resto mural. A couple other things, that coating that shields against the elements, is that also serve as an anti-graffiti coating as well, or would graffiti not be able to be removed from
This
that?
one does not. We do have an anti-graffiti coating that we talked about. It was definitely put in the conversation, and I know it does work with all the other products that we were talking about. This one does not specifically mention anti-graffiti. If that's the preference, I know we do have one. I was just talking about it yesterday with our store manager that we could move forward with as well, and it works with the Loxon and the rain refresh that we discussed.
Are the doors going to remain the color that they are now?
They will.
Okay, and then the last comment was just the one mural that's in the artist portfolio. Do you know what Evan's role was with that mural in the middle? Because the lead artist on that one is Chris Darden, the one on Chester Avenue.
So I remember talking through this one with him. I think it was a collaborative effort. I think they both, and Allison, maybe you might be more in the loop on this one. I'm not 100% sure, but I think when in my conversation with him, it was a little bit more collaborative. So they both worked on the design and they both assisted in painting.
Okay, because Chris has passed away, but he was the lead artist on that.
Okay.
Okay. And I would just caution the usage. I know that Sherwin-Williams wasn't going to do this design without the Sherwin-Williams name on the art, but I would just caution with future products that are presented as public art and not marketing or branding to stick with the public art and try to get away from having the brand in the artwork itself. So it can be treated as a mural and not a sign.
Yes, and I would add to that you know, having a company logo, for example, the cover of the earth thing is a little less direct and in your face than saying Sherwin-Williams in big letters. So yes, this definitely leans towards signage, even though there's the art component to it. I think the Sherwin-Williams, I did not see the prior version where you said it was bigger and you shrunk it down. I guess in my opinion, I'd still like to see it less prominent, but because the front of the store has your typical retail signage on it. And I think because company is sponsoring the mural, you know, sure, okay, it's okay to do that. And I think I'm okay with this size, but it wouldn't be my first choice. I will say that.
Yeah, and I will say too, I know, oh, sorry, I think I just had some kickback. I will say too, on the final version, the Sherwin-Williams is still around the same size, but that like white area that's reserved for our logo is a little bit more condensed. So there's more elements on the side. You're able to see the sky a bit more. So it is a little bit more condensed than what we're looking at right now.
Do you have that? You can pull up and then
I do. Yeah. If I'm able to share my screen, I can show that.
Yeah.
And Kelley, can you email this updated version to us so we have it for our files as well?
Absolutely, yes. Sorry, it literally just came through this morning, so I was not able to add, but let me pull up my screen right now.
And then Shannon Leonard had her hand up, and I don't know if you meant to.
I did.
Will you also introduce yourself so that the committee knows who you are? Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm Shannon Leonard. I work in the zoning section of city planning. Tara and Don asked me to join this conversation to evaluate whether this would be considered public art or would this be considered a sign. And so because regardless of whether it's 15% or 10%, since you already have signage on the building, this is considered a painted wall sign. It does have like an artsy component, of course, but it is definitely a painted wall sign with the fact that you have Sherwin-Williams as well as several other actual businesses in the city of Cleveland. So for instance, First Energy on here, Progressive, et cetera. And so with that being said, for design review, when you have signage and this being viewed as signage, I would need to know what the size of your other signage is, as well as the frontage, linear frontage of your building, because you're going to need a variance from the Landmarks Commission. This is the same as if this was in a regular design review that's not a landmarks district, but was in just a city planning district. Don, as well as the director, does not have the ability to just to sign off on a variance. It actually has to go through the commission process. So just so
Sorry,
that there's
question for you, Shannon. Does that mean it needs to go to BZA?
no, so signage that's in design review districts or in landmarks districts goes to, when they need a variance, you have the ability to vary the code based on minimal variation. It's in section 340.16, 350.16 of the zoning code of what landmarks and design review and city planning have the ability to do in terms of varying the sign code. And so it would just go to landmarks. And if landmarks approves this as a sign, then there would be no BZA required. They would just have to go pull their permits.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for saying that. I know we had some conversations and we were able to get added to the landmarks meeting that's next Thursday. So we definitely have that underway and we're planning to connect with them on this as well.
All right.
But I can get ahead of that meeting. I can get the size of our signage in the front of the building as well. I know the landlord of the building and our architectural manager would have that information. So I could definitely get that pretty quickly.
Yeah, if you could just get the size of that sign as well as, I'm assuming landmarks may have approved that previously,
Sure, absolutely.
as well as the actual dimensions of this sign, that would be great.
Sure.
And the linear frontage of the side.
I'm sorry, the linear frontage of the side, what would that mean?
Facing West 44th. So what you have, I need it for Lorain as well as West 44th.
Okay, so.
So the square footage of the sign versus the whole square footage of the first floor of the building.
So should this body, we should be reviewing this now as a sign instead of a piece of public art?
This is definitely a sign. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I guess regarding the signage issue altogether, I think that, I guess, I don't know if it was his intent, but it sort of looks like he was trying to mimic postage stamps with the outlines around all these things. And I guess he was trying to be literal in identifying them, but those sort of look like ads too, First Energy, Wally the trolley. I think, anybody from Cleveland knows those iconic images. I don't think, I know it's not intended to be advertising those things. But that almost looks like, increasing the advertising element. And, when I look at the top version here with the Sherwin-Williams sign on the door, your bosses and the corporate probably wouldn't like it. They say, okay, you're saying Sherwin-Williams, bam, right in the middle of this whole mural. What do you need it for on the top?
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And that's something kind of we were talking about earlier in the meeting. It's a poster that's currently on the door right now. It's not like painted on or anything. And it's just to identify that it's a Sherwin-Williams store. Because right now it's empty brick. There's really nothing on that side facing West 44th Street. So I think that was just kind of like the identifier, since you cannot see the front signage on this side of the street. And that is something that we can remove. Like we can definitely work with the store manager. I don't even know if we'd recommend having it up with all the other stuff that's going on. So I don't think that should be a huge issue.
I guess I'm saying I'd rather see it there and get rid of the mural painted Sherwin-Williams letters, and, you know, you can maybe say something like sponsored by Sherwin-Williams, so it relates more to the mural, and, you know, all the other pieces are identified, like the West Side Market. You've got some circles there, they don't Ohio City, West Side Market. That would be my preference. You know, I understand that you shrunken the Sherwin-Williams identifiers a little bit, but the whole thing just has a little more advertising type quality to it than I would like to see. And you probably didn't tell the artist to do that. That was just probably his concept, I guess.
Yeah, I think we want it to be like very Cleveland centric and focused. These are obviously very like well-known scenes and places in Cleveland that we wanted to focus in on. I think identifying is just kind of helpful maybe for people that aren't from Cleveland, or just to kind of like know for a fact, like this is, you know, this is our Browns First Energy Stadium and this is the Rock Hall and all those important things. Are you suggesting that we kind of remove that copy that's on there, or?
Yeah,
like,
I think it's more literal than it needs to be. If you're not from Cleveland and you see this, and then you say, geez, I wonder what that is, and drive around the neighborhood a little bit more. Oh, that's what I saw on the mural, you know, and having a little tiny bit of mystery about it doesn't hurt, you know. You don't have to shout it out.
Sure.
And there's a picture of something.
I guess I disagree with Doug. The fact that it's a sign or even an advertisement painted on a commercial building in this district is certainly not out of context with the history of the corridor, especially not being on a primary facade. So art, signage, advertising, that really doesn't matter to me. The Sherwin-Williams doesn't bother me, nor does the identifying text. I think it's a really nice composition. And would not like to limit the artist's artistic expression, even if this is a sign and we are allowed to comment on the content of the art itself in this particular project. I would say take the sign off that door, which seems unnecessary anyways if it's not a public access door, and then just, I guess I'm just fine with it. I think it would be a great addition to a very blank facade.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Again, with that signage, we can have that removed for sure.
On the other hand, you know, I guess in the historic district itself, it is traditional to have painted signage, you know, advertising businesses on the walls and so forth. So it's not out of the character of the historic district to have such a thing. It's just, I guess that's more of I'm critiquing the artwork more than advertising, which is not the essence of why we're doing this.
Thank you. Yeah, we think it's really Cleveland proud and Cleveland centric, which is great. Again, like I mentioned before, Sherwin-Williams has been in Cleveland for over 150 years, actually, like really right in the same location, downtown location. So we were really excited to be able to add this and talk with you guys about it. Are there any other points of clarification or questions I can answer?
Just clarifying that this will be the only sign, that there's no intent to then add other signs on that side of the facade.
Correct. Yep. This
Okay.
will be the only side. I know in our earlier meetings, we were definitely really adamant about making sure it was just this, and this will be it for sure.
I don't have any other questions. I'm in support of it.
So thank you.
All right, if there's no other question or comment, would someone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to move as presented, with understanding that the poster will be removed from the door.
We have a second?
I'll second if we don't have other comment. Alex, do you have any?
I don't have any further comment, no.
All right.
Great.
So Donna, please call the roll.
Alex Frondor,
Aye,
so yes.
yes,
Antonia Marinucci,
Yes.
Margaret Land,
Yes,
Doug Wall,
Aye.
so yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So this was approved unanimously as presented, with the recommendation to remove the poster on the door, and this will be the only Sherwin-Williams signage on this facade.
Yep.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I know, Mr. Pettit, I think you're still on the call. I know we were planning to present with you guys on Thursday. Are we still able to add to the agenda to make sure that your review board is able to see it?
Yes, you're still on the agenda for the 23rd. I'll need your final presentation as soon as you can get it to me, preferably before tomorrow.
Yeah, and is the one that we kind of talked through today, is that what you're looking for? Is there anything I would need to add? Any more information you'd like to see apart from the specs of the signage that we already talked about?
I think we have everything we need. I just clarify the revision to the size of the mural. You said it was scaled back slightly. Just make sure you're showing the one you want to propose.
Absolutely. Yep. I'll swap that one in. And when I send that through, and I'll make sure I get the size of the dimensions of the sign on the front of the door as soon as possible. So I'll have that for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Great. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Really
Thank you.
excited about this. So
Thank you.
thanks.
All right, our third applicant, Taubman Law. Hope I'm not butchering that name.
Well, somehow I inherited the duty of representing this to the board.
Okay.
So hopefully I will have whatever information is needed when there are questions. And to note up front, we're actually hoping for a final approval. I know the listing on the design review docket says signage. And the sign provider is not on the call that I know of. So hopefully that's fairly self-explanatory. But we are.
And sorry to interrupt you. So you are working with the SRP, the Storefront Renovation Program, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that because that does change a little bit how it's viewed.
Correct. Yes, so this is, in this document is one of the renderings that Tim Bere provided, which essentially restores the storefront to a more historic configuration. Primarily, I know it's been covered for quite some time, but the current framing around the windows is quite wide, which was not historically accurate. We can see it from the inside of the building. So one of the primary things was to return to narrow stiles around the storefront glass, which is all going to be replaced. And also to restore the inset transom on the middle door, which is the original configuration. Right now, somebody kind of temped in or built across another flat piece of glazing there. So the transom windows are all in plane across the entire front. But the original configuration was an inset transom there. So we plan to restore that. And then really the only change to the bay windows is Tim has shown a paint on the roof section that's kind of a copper patina color. And the colors on the storefront itself are obviously reflecting the Taubman sign and colors there. The colors on the bay windows are what would be something fairly traditional for the era of the building.
I know you have a rendering, a drawing, but do you have a photo of the existing conditions? Of present day?
Well, I have a photo that I can share that is from 2016. Right now, the whole storefront is boarded over. So there's not much to be seen from the exterior. But Tim did send me a picture, if I can yeah, if you're looking at Google, you can see what you're currently looking at, or actually it's been replaced with Taubman's logo, but and actually while we're looking at that picture, well, the mural just disappeared. Yeah, there it is. So that's the 2016 version. And you can see the wide stiles around the glass that I referenced, as well as the panel that was placed over the middle door that's not original.
So talking about that transom, you're taking one panel out over the middle door, but is the rest of the transom existing behind those blank panels, or is that glass that's painted that's original?
Yeah, it has been covered over, but there are glass transoms up there that are original. So
Your intention is to leave those.
What's that?
Your intention is to just get back to the original and paint and replace it with glass and that sort of thing.
Correct. The other thing to mention is on the side wall, there's currently a mural, and we're going to be doing some extensive brick work there. Yeah, it's this picture's too old, but if you can go to a current one, yeah, there it is.
Sorry, I'm trying to get there. Sorry to make everyone nauseous.
There it is, full tilt, yes. So the intent is to paint that entire side of the building a brick color.
Oh, you're getting rid of the mural?
Yes, much of it will be disturbed by the brickwork that needs to be done on the side of the building.
And what exactly is the brickwork that needs to be done?
Well, there are two doors to a balcony that are semi-visible there with bad lintels that need to be replaced, and the brick wall needs to be torn down all the way to those doors, and then the parapet wall above the double window there.
Is that specified here in this drawing?
I believe there's a note.
It says repairs only, but this seems more expensive than just repairs.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the full scope. The drawing there says no change to east or west, repairs only. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's the north elevation. Okay. And that's much more extensive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is to restore it basically to its original condition, but there are large steel beams embedded in the masonry that supported billboards, and they have caused quite a bit of damage to that parapet wall. So the parapet on the northeast, the north elevation, but the east half needs to be rebuilt. And the brick above the doors to that balcony needs to be rebuilt from the lintels up. So the original.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, the original question was about the mural, and there will be quite a disruption to it. And I think the owner of the building is not all that excited about it anyway.
Are you sourcing brick to match for this? Or are you reusing brick from the building?
We won't be able to reuse a lot of brick. And again, because it's all painted, you know, we'll provide a match, particularly with dimension.
So you don't need to do any repairs that involve replacement of brick on the front facade? It's only
Yeah.
on the side?
Yeah, not that we know of. There's always the possibility as we get up to that corner that they find something we don't see now. But the intent is not to wrap around the front of the building. If we did, then of course we would be matching the brick and the mortar color.
Well, if you find something like that, I think you should come back and present that to us instead of this, because it's currently not in your scope of work.
Yeah, I would second
Understood.
that, Doug, and I'd like to actually see what brick selected to prepare the pattern that you're going to be replacing it. Is it exactly what's there now? The mortar color, how the mortar is struck, all of that.
Also, if there's any cleaning happening on the front facade, like to see that specified as well
Yeah.
to the masonry.
Okay, I don't think there was an intent to do a cleaning on the front. If you're asking us to clean it.
Just if you were planning on it, we'd like that to know that. If not, that's fine.
Yes, what process you might use, but so it's just if you decide to undertake that. If not, fine.
I would also add to that I think we need to see the color choice for the new paint on the north wall as well.
Yes, instead of just a brick color, something more specific, like an actual paint color. Remember?
And is there an engineer's report or anything detailing the extent of the tear down and replacement, so that you know some of it in advance, or is this sort of exploratory, find out as you go?
Sorry, there is not an engineering report for that exterior elevation.
So so what's the basis for needing to, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, basically tear down the wall and rebuild it?
I don't know if anybody else is having trouble hearing. I think you were saying what's the basis for taking down the parapet wall?
Right. Who recommended that if we didn't have a structural report?
The masons who are going to be doing the work. It's a little hard to see in the photo, but the steel that's embedded in that wall has blown out the brick. So if you look at that elevation, there's kind of a dotted line estimating the extent of where the brick has been affected by the swelling steel.
I think we're going to need a lot more information here before authorizing the removal of a parapet wall, the rebuilding of a parapet wall, the brick, I mean, everything we've mentioned. And I think I'd like to see an engineer's report. I mean, it sounds like to me that you'll take that down. If it looks like it needs to go further, you'll do that. And your dedication to restoring the building is wonderful and should be applauded. But I think we need to have a little more certainty before signing off on this.
Yeah, and I think to get a permit, you're going to need a little more detail on the, like a wall section or something like that, describing the masonry work that you're going to do to rebuild the wall. And lastly, I would be reluctant to accept the opinion of a masonry contractor, even though he might be exactly right, without having some sort of backup from an architect or engineer about his opinion. I've had masonry contractors that wanted to make more work for themselves. Oh, tear that all down and rebuild the whole thing. When there are other choices available.
It's
So-
self-evident if you look at the side of the building.
Some existing condition photos would help make that case.
Because we
I'm
can't
sure.
tell. Yes, we can't tell any of that.
Okay, I'll pass that information along.
I have a question about the windows. I see it's a Marvin, but it doesn't specify which product line.
It's a aluminum clad wood product.
Okay, thank you.
And so you're also seeking approval of that sign there, that blade sign. Can you tell us about that, how it's being affixed to the masonry? Is it illuminated? Those sorts of details. How tall it?
Scroll down, there's some details on that at the lower part of the presentation.
No, thank you, Doug. I'll look.
Did you say the details he's after are provided below?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't know a lot about the sign. It's not our contract.
Okay.
Thomas, do you know how far off the ground that sign is? Like where the bottom is gonna meet? Or guess how much head clearance below that sign for pedestrians?
How far above the ground is the bottom of the sign?
If no dimensions given, I don't know specifically. It would be at about 9 feet as it's pictured.
Well, if that's correct, then that the bottom of the sign kind of lines up with the transom rail of the store.
We'd like to specify that mounting go through the mortar rather than the brick.
Yes, they can adjust the location of the screw penetration.
They do have a note on the
Oh, I
on
missed
the
that. Thanks,
signage.
Mia.
Yeah, it is there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Is the sign illuminate? Oh, no, face lit LED channel letters with white faces. Okay. Are we able to approve the facade, like the front primary facade proposal, and then ask them to return with more information on the parapet? Like the windows, signage, paint?
I think we can do that. We can make a motion to approve the work on the front and the signage and tell them to come back to the side of the building.
Is that agreeable, Thomas?
I can go along with that.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We have to get full approval before we can submit for permit, so.
We can at least order those windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you still want to handle it as one thing, let's just, would you be okay if we table it so we can bring us additional information on the side elevation?
It would be helpful to be able to order the windows because they're
Yeah. I'm
20 something
thinking.
weeks out.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, well,
so
yeah.
the first route, let's make a motion to approve what we can approve.
So motion to approve the primary facade restoration, including paint, storefront renovation, windows and door, as well as signage. And asking the applicant to return with more detail on that north facade and the parapet repairs and replacement.
Well, second.
Okay. Donna, please call the roll.
You're muted.
Sorry. Did someone
Margaret
second?
Mann,
No.
Yes.
Antonio Marinucci,
Aye. Yes.
Alex Frondorf,
Yes.
Doug Wall.
Yes,
Okay, so we are approving the primary facade on West 25th Street, which includes the SRP details. So the windows, the door, signage, and the restorations as presented today, and then leaving the side of the building to come back for another day, at another date. The north facade.
sounds right to me.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. If you have any questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
All right, will do. Thanks again.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, do we have Jeff from Ohio City Burrito present today? Or representative?
Hello. Hey, guys.
Okay, let me pull up your presentation. Whenever you're ready, you can start talking about your project.
Okay. Well, essentially, we needed a window that could open and get some ventilation. Our space is less than 900 square feet, including our kitchen. So everything's pretty tight and cozy. So we wanted a window that could open, and the best way we could figure it out was to install what you see here, the folding glass that raises up and down. The panels are the same size as the panels in the top windows of the building. They match it pretty much exactly. They're both anodized aluminum. So it matched windows that were already existing on the facade of the building upstairs. So that's what we went with.
You have a picture of
I
what the
think-
storefront looks like today?
I'm sorry.
Is that the storefront right now? The picture that we're seeing here, is that what it looks like right now?
Yes.
Donna, did this come before us before, and did we disallow the use of the garage door?
If my memory serves me correct, I don't have my notes from this in front of me, but I believe that this came before us probably about a year ago. And Mr. Pizzuli proposed this window, and it was voted down, I believe, or it was tabled. I'm not sure if it was tabled or if there was a no, but
So either way, it wasn't approved, but it was installed anyways.
I recall a discussion around venting from the side lights instead of the front bay, but I don't remember if we voted or tabled.
Well, one thing we certainly didn't do was approve it.
yes,
And
it was
there-
not
Yes,
approved.
correct.
There was no, I don't have a certificate of appropriateness that approves this. So, and I do remember that, well, I'll let you guys talk about it, but yes.
Well, we didn't approve it, and we wouldn't have approved it, and we would never approve a garage door going on the facade of a historic building in the heart of the historic district. There are other ways of getting ventilation, of achieving all of the project aims and goals. This isn't one of them, though. It needs to be fixed.
No, if you could make that piece of storefront 2 hinged panels perhaps that would swing in, it'd give you the same result, but look more appropriate. Because trying to say you're doing what's on the second floor is not necessarily appropriate to what should be on the first floor. So right now, it's one big piece of glass. Now you want to divide it into 6. That's not appropriate.
I think what needs to happen is you need to come back with proposals that meet your goals, and there are at least a few of them. Doug just identified some of them, but that's not a garage door.
Don, can you tell us what the correct like path forward is? I mean, when something's already installed like this and it's not something we would approve or have approved,
Yeah.
do we
It's-
vote? What do we do?
Well, it's always difficult to review things after the fact. I sent an email to the business owner over a year ago expressing my opinion that a garage door was inappropriate in this particular storefront based on the size, based on the configuration. I didn't think that the desired outcome warranted this kind of alteration. But the bottom line was that it had to go through the process before it could be installed. It's installed now. There's no permit for it. There's no approval from either you guys or the Landmarks Commission. You know, I think I agree with Mr. Frondorf that you should look at other alternative methods of achieving what you need here and come back to the committee. But it's ultimately up to you to make a recommendation to the commission, whether you want to disapprove it or table it and come back with other options. The applicant has the right to proceed to the commission over your recommendation, just so that's clear. But I think the commission's going to look to you to decide, what the local recommendation is. And so those are your options.
All right, so then I guess we put it to the applicant. Would you like to table this and come back with options that meet your program requirements but are appropriate for the historic district? Or would you like us to vote on it? And I think that it will not be favorable.
I don't care. That's fine. We can table it.
Okay, and when would you propose coming back? I don't want to table this and then another year pass.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I have no idea. A few months.
So one thing that we don't want to do is agree to table it, and then you disappear and we don't hear from anyone ever again. So I think we need some commitment that you'll be back, whether it's in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, what the case might be, that you'll be coming back to design review and then through Landmarks. We need some commitment on the record that you would do.
All right, we could say a month.
So Jeff, if this is tabled, your intention is to try to investigate alternatives and come back to us. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, I think that's really just the most we can ask if we table it. I don't think we can demand a timetable for him to return.
Well, what's the timetable of the city if something's installed without a permit?
Has he applied for a permit?
Yes.
Oh, well then, if they don't get the required approval within, what is it, a year, the permit is voided. Permit application is voided.
We have 45 days to act on a permit application. But this is the circumstances here are that, this is still going through our process. Tabling it basically stops the clock. we can table anything for a period up to 6 months. But I'd feel more comfortable if we tabled it to a date certain, given the circumstances here.
Then I will, I would recommend that we table this for no more than 1 month.
Anyone want to so move?
I will move that this be tabled for 1 month, and then Donna, that it be back on the agenda, whatever that date is, a month from today.
Second?
Do we have a second?
Oh, sure, I will second.
Okay, Doug Wall,
Aye, yes.
Antonia Marinucci,
Yes.
Margaret Land,
Yes,
Alex Frondorf.
Yes,
So this was tabled with the time frame of a month from today to come back with